This is Garrett Reicher demonstrating my final project for the Pi class. It's called DecoLED, and as it says on the screen, it's home automation for RGB strips. And the idea behind this application is that you can control decorative RGB strips, sort of like the one that I have mounted on the underside of my bed, that you can control those from a web page that you can access on a computer like I have here, or your phone or tablet or anything. So I'm just going to demo the application, and then afterwards I'll get into the more specifics, so those of you that don't want to hear it don't have to stick around for it. So we have the starting page here, and it has a login prompt. So I'm just going to log in with the pre-made account that I made using an email and a password. I apologize for the camera waving. And I can tell it to remember me, but I'm not going to in this instance. And so it starts up the website. It's obviously pretty plain. No. So a little logged in prompt up here. And as you can see, there's one NeoPixel strip registered and a bunch of buttons to control it. So one thing I can do is I could hit this little edit button, and I could edit what GPIO pin this strip is on, or I could delete the strip if I don't want to work with it anymore. But all these buttons do something different. So these ones here on the left are just static colors. I will show you a couple of those. I'm not going to show you all of them since some of them are kind of the same. But then over here on the Pi, bright red. Then we'll do green, bright green, and we'll do white. White. In addition, I also have Larson scanners hooked up to each color, and they go both ways. So here we have a teal going to the right, and then we click this button. Now we have a teal going to the left. And then I also have the animations that we did for the RGB assignment. I have the rainbow Larson, and that goes the other way as well. At the bottom I have 3 rainbow buttons. There's the static rainbow, the moving rainbow to the right, and the moving rainbow to the left. And then there is also a button at the top that you can press to turn it off. Now, one thing that didn't get into the final build that I feel I should explain is the ability to control multiple strips. Right here I have a button to add a new, where you can specify a name for it and a pin. However, I ran into an issue with the GPIO ports not being able to control the second strip. You can see I have it right there. The error that was popping up when I was trying to control them was munmap error -1, and I googled it for about 2 to 3 hours and did not find anything about what it was or what caused it. So I kind of had to put that on the wayside by now, but one strip does work, so considering the logic for that I have set up, it should work for 2 strips without a problem once I figure out what's causing that error. So now to get into the nitty-gritty of it all. So the way this application works is I start up the Pi and I run this web2pi.py script. That opens up this little GUI where I specify an IP, a server port, and an admin password. And this is the Apache server that will run the website. This is just the website. This doesn't handle any of the actual controlling of the lights. So then, after I have to run another script, this big long path here called GPIO server.py. This is a script that actually receives information from the website. As you can see, it's printing out here. It's saying where it's connected from, a process ID, and then right here is the important information. It's getting a pin, it's getting a mode, it's getting a speed, and then it's getting a color. And it's doing that every time. So the other thing to note is it's kind of like a four-way system. Let me log into the admin panel here on my website to kind of show you what I mean by that. Entering the admin password that I set up when I set up the server. So I go in here in my application and edit. So this is where all my scripts are. So the HTML on the site is handled by these, specifically default index.html. Then behind that is the default.py script, which has a bunch of functions for all the different buttons. Then default.py sends all the information to a GPIO client, which packages the data and sends it to a certain socket on the Pi, and then it's received by GPIO server, which will run specific functions in neopixelstrip.py. And that is how my project works.